All right, everybody, thank you for joining into another episode of Positive Attraction with Coach Henry, your host. That's me. And today I have a guest all the way from Florida, and we're doing our Riverside podcast here, virtual. We couldn't get in front of each other, but it was worth getting to know this young man because we couldn't wait to do it in the studio in Texas or California. So we're going to do some of the great things I admire about him and all the work he's doing. So who are you?
Thanks so much, Henry. Thanks for having me. Well, before we start, you just made my day saying young man. So I just had I had my 50th birthday last month. So thanks so much for making my day. And happy birthday to you, by the way.
Thank you. Well, happy birthday to you. And you do look great. And so keep it up. It's in the Florida water, I think, probably, right?
Oh, I don't know about that. The sun is ruthless here. But to answer your question, I'm Alistair McCaw. I'm a keynote speaker. I'm an author of 7 best-selling books. My field is leadership, mindset, and team culture. Those are my passions. Those are my part of my purpose in life as well. So I'm very, very lucky to do what I love and what drives me every day. For me, it's not a job. For me, it's not work. Yeah. And I'm sure we'll get into this, Henry, but that's part of my purpose is to help others find what I've been so lucky to find is doing something that I love that I don't call work.
Yeah. Well, Alistair, thank you. And I mean that because look as we're launching this podcast, people ask me for me, well, why are you doing it? And and they don't buy the answer sometimes because the answer, I know you'll buy the answer, because the answer is just I feel I have a certain voice and a platform, and I get to meet great people along the way of my life that I feel their stories can bless others. So I have the gift to share their stories. And you just started because you took the time. Let me tell you something. Your team or you or someone on your end responded. You met this appointment. And I have people, they're not even a tenth as busy as you. A tenth. And they can't even respond to a message. And I have so much respect for you because not only is your stuff great, be champion minded. I love it. I post your stuff and give you credit all the time. You took the time to be on this show. You took the time to help me along my way, share your voice. So thank you. And it's a sincere thank you because you are living, and I could be honest proof, you are living what you preach. And that's refreshing to see.
Well, that's really, really nice of you. Thanks so much. I think there's a difference between being busy and being productive, and I like to see myself being productive. Even taking a nap is being productive because it's part of your energy system as well.
Absolutely.
But something I always remember where I come from, Henry. I had 0 followers, 0 listeners on my podcast when I started, and had to go through the same process. So I know exactly what it's like. I suppose it's just having the fortune of being experienced, of also being in your position, and I know that you've grown your platform as well over the years, which has been a great success, but you know what it takes as well, and a lot of rejection, and that's something I feel that in life is and this is something I pass on especially to students and younger people, is if you can handle rejection and understand that it's just another opportunity for you, it's also an answer that it's to move on to the next thing, then that's how I've always lived my life.
Yeah, and it shows, Alistair, like you said, because I am successful in many other ways in the sense of my attributes. I'm grateful in business, and I do have a blessed life, but I'm doing the second part, which is my hat. You and I talked a little bit off camera for a second about being intentional, and I feel it's our duty, it's our honor, right? Because it sounds like you, which we're going to get into in a moment, you've had some patches where things were not always great, right? So I think one of the things I want to hear, and I think the listeners will want to hear, is how do you stay humble but stay hungry? And I feel that's why I came up with this intentional, is I feel blessed. At the highest, at the lowest, I'm always going to see the good in it, but I'm going to continue to bless others because someone out there sometimes needs more than what I have, right? Somebody needs something. And then there's times in life where I meet someone like you, let's say, and your post hit me just the right way. It was the words that I just needed to read or hear. So that's why I always say to my team and our people is, let's be blessed to bless. That is the honor of that. So thank you for what you shared. I love you being intentional. I love your shirt because it's all about excellence in what we put in. So let's get into one of the key questions I want people to get right as they get to know you is this, is as you've written 7 books, bestsellers, that's important. In this journey, we all have different whys. What was one of the key whys that really triggered you to go on this path to really be champion-minded? Because that's the name that you go by, correct? That's your theme.
Yeah, I think it was started at a very young age where I was involved in an individual sport. I was in running and sports like triathlon, where I used to spend a lot of time by myself, training by myself. I used to love actually just spending time with myself. So I was like, I wouldn't call myself an introvert. The fact that you enjoy your own company or enjoy being around yourself doesn't make you an introvert. I think that was something that I would say the first 25, 30 years of my life, I was really, a lot of the times, I'd spend a lot of time by myself. I'd go out for long rides for 3 hours, 4 hours on the bike, go run, etc. I had a successful sporting career. I competed for my country, South Africa, in 5 world championships. I raced internationally in Europe and got to spend 11 years in countries like Germany, Holland, France, Italy. Wow. Racing. So I had a really good athletic career, which I'm really blessed for. I've also had a very good career in sports performance and consulting as well, where I've been able to work with a lot of Olympians and so on. And you know, this is not for me to like blow my trumpet, but this is for me to say, okay, where am I going with this? Is that a lot of that didn't fulfill me. And it was, you know, I was collecting all these accolades and collecting all these achievements and making a great resume, but I still didn't feel fulfilled. And this is probably in my mid-30s towards late 40s as well, where I was just at probably the most unhappiest place in my life. Wow. Where I just didn't feel fulfilled, and one more great thing on my resume or one more accolade or another marathon would do nothing to it. I thought it would. So it's almost like chasing materials, where you know, you get a new car or you get a new watch and you're super happy for a week or two and then disappears. And so what I discovered was, it's not things that are going to make me happy. It's adding value to other people's lives. So that's where it started for me on this journey of writing books and speaking and so on and so forth. And that's what my purpose is to impact as many lives as I can while I'm here. As we know, Henry, life is very, very short, and something I realized, you know, when I hit 50 or approaching 50, just, you know, in May, was gosh, and I'm sure everybody who reaches this milestone thinks, gosh, where did that go? It just goes so fast. And I mean, to be honest with you, I still think I'm 25, 30 in my head. I really do. And I can see
I'm with you.
I can see that you're a sporty guy, and you're also full of life, that you're also probably like that. You also think you're still 30 in your head. But, you know, life is short, and we've got to squeeze everything out of it as we can. Enjoy every moment, enjoy people. And for me, the most fulfilling thing in life is adding value to others. And I think it's helped me in my career working with Olympians and world-class athletes and people in the corporate world as well, is that, you know, life is not about what you're achieving and what you're getting, it's what you're giving.
Yeah. Alistair, I love that. And I think that's why I was so excited to really get to know you as well. And I'll settle for this platform, but we're going to do an in-person one in the future. You can be sure of that, my friend. I love what you shared, because, and this is why this hat means a lot to me. I love when I go out and about, Alistair, and people ask me sometimes, like, hey, what does that mean to you? I go, it just means whatever I have in my life, whatever season, high or low, I'm blessed, because I want to see the blessing in it. And I feel like you, that it's not about me. It's just like you've accomplished some great things, and that's important for you to hear from a peer, because it's not easy to write books, podcasts, travel, speak, a lot of time, effort, money. So I applaud you for that. But so what you've done, though, because of that, you now, and I've seen some of your posts and some of your students and people repost. I've been guilty in a good way of reposting some of your things. And I know as a coach myself of different things that it feels good when people go, hey, I love that mindset. And that's why being champion mindset is, to me, is so strong, and you've summed it up. Now you're taking all your decades of experience, personal, business, sportsmanship, and kind of packaged it in a great 50-year-old package with a 20-year-old mindset of energy, which is awesome, right? And now you can share that with the world, with hopefully for a long time, And I plan on being one of those people benefiting from you and crossing each other. So thank you for that answer. Now, just to bring people up to par, though, can you share a little bit more about the specifics of your daily, like 7 books? I know one you're promoting now, and we'll have that in the hashtags and all that for you. But where can people also see you more? How do you, just because I want to talk about that, and then we'll get into the next question.
Yeah, I actually slowed down my public appearances more, where I just do more private consulting and speaking with corporates and sports teams, etc. Maybe that might pick up towards the end of this year or next year, where I might do more public events. The traveling took its toll on me as well. Already this year, I think I've had around about 25 to 30 flights this year as well. I just got back on Sunday from France and Monaco.
Wow.
So the best places, as you mentioned, to get in touch or I love Twitter. I love that platform because you're able to filter out what you don't want to follow. You're able to filter people that you do like to follow, and I have a lot of mentors that I've never met in my life, and people like you are mentors, Henry, because I might follow you on Twitter or Instagram and love what you do, and that's a mentorship to me. I don't have to know you on a personal basis to call you a mentor. Instagram, I love being on, and I haven't done a podcast in a long time because of my travel schedule and so on, so I haven't been as committed there. But I've just turned my focus around to number one, self-leadership.
Yeah.
I believe that's the most important thing, is that you need to take care of yourself first. You need to take care of your health, your schedule, your relationships, your family, the things that are important to you, the things that give you energy in the first place. And then number two is adding value to others. But self-leadership isn't the first one. Now, a lot might hear that and go, "Oh, that's a little selfish that you put yourself first." There's that cliche or analogy that we've all heard about, in an airplane where you're told to put on the oxygen mask before you put it on to the person next to you. It really is that you've got to be able to breathe first before you can help others. And so for me, those are the top two, Henry, is self-leadership. If you can't lead yourself, you can't lead others effectively. And number two, adding value to others. How can I add value to other people today? That's the question I ask myself every morning.
Yeah, it's beautiful, Alistair. And later you'll hear cross, but I use the exact same example of the plane, and I believe that 100% it is not selfish. Some that take it that way, that's probably how they live their lives. They're not realizing that a healthy Alistair is going to bless a lot more people through your books, right? A unhealthy Alistair is not going to help a lot of people. So being first for the sake of being better for others is everything. So we are 100% aligned on that, my friend, 100%. So I love that share, and how we talked about this being intentional, right? Even a nap. I like a little joke for us. I do 13 to 16 minutes precisely for me. If I'm really tired, it's a perfect, I go into an instant out. I'm up, give me a minute or two, and I feel like I had 5 cups of coffee, right? And a lot of my friends are like, that's not a nap. That's like, but they do like an hour. I go, an hour? Like an hour? Like, I mean, everyone does their own, but it's just funny having those conversations. But I wanted to keep it lighthearted. But yes, to your point, even a scheduled rest or nap is making you better for that particular day, depending on what you have going on. So, well, great, Alistair. I have the next question I have for you that I know people want to hear is, when you are feeling, I just personally share with you that it was kind of a hard week for me. just because of my friend and passing. But I was good because of all of it. But I wasn't my chirpy self for obvious reasons. But a lot of leaders that I respect, I think sometimes have this pressure that you always have to be on. And I always say, look, I'm going to be on by being real. And being real sometimes means I'm going to be sad, I'm going to be tired, I'm going to be whatever it is, but I'm going to experience it. But what makes me different than some is I just don't stay there longer than most so that I can, but I'm going to feel those emotions. So when you're going through something, how do you feel where you are in this stage of your life? Do you, especially being an athlete, you have time to recover. But I think a lot of leaders forget to do that. They forget to refresh. They forget to regroup. So what are some of the things that you've done or do that others can kind of maybe take from?
Yeah, you just spoke about, and I'm glad you brought this up about, it's impossible to be on all the time. I always say that, the difference, positive people still get negative, but the difference between positive and negative people is that positive people can move on quicker. They can let go of the negativity. So I still
there you go.
I still get negative. I still wake up like anybody else in the morning and feel uninspired or unmotivated. That's normal. Even though I write these books on positivity and mindset and so on and so forth, I'm human. I also have emotions and feelings and feel tired and so on and so forth. But something I think I've trained over time is to move on quicker from self-pity or saying I'm tired, or I in my new book that's coming out at the end of the year, and I actually wrote this morning, is when the words we say to ourselves are so important. So when you say I'm tired, are you really tired? If I was to say to you, okay, Henry, your life depends on running a marathon this afternoon. If you don't, that's it. You'll go out and run a marathon no matter how tired you are. You'll make it happen. You'll make it happen because your life depends on it. So when we say these words of "I'm tired," there's the powerful words of "I can't" and "never." These type of words, those are very powerful words that we're speaking into ourselves. But to answer your question regards the energy point of view, so each day I will break it into like what I call 20-minute segments. So I will always get a nap. It's usually around about this time, actually just before 1 o'clock for 20 minutes. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean I sleep. All that means is I'll go lie down, on the couch in my bedroom, or if I'm out, for example, in my car. And I was speaking at an event in Fort Myers, at the Fort Myers Police a few weeks ago, and I had a break between 1 and 2. I went to my car and put the AC on and just closed my eyes for 20 minutes. So that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So for me, that's very important because I break my day into 8-hour segments. So 8 hours, I get up at 5:30, and then by 1:30, it's about 8 hours. I will have my first break, my first mental break. So I'll switch off. I'll go into a room in my car, no phone, no laptop, no noise, and just switch off. I don't usually sleep, but that has helped me sustain the next 8 hours for the rest of the day to be in a better frame of mind.
Yeah.
Another 20 minutes I make each day, is there's no excuse, is to have to exercise for 20 minutes. Now it's usually a little bit longer than that because I'll have more time, but there is some days, Henry, where I haven't had a lot of time because I've been on the road, I've been on working commitments. But I can get 20 minutes in the gym in the morning before my day starts off at the hotel, or when I'm at home, I can exercise, for example. So those are two non-negotiables. My third non-negotiable is reading. So I will read at least 20 minutes a day, something that either helps me spiritually, mentally, in that capacity as well. So I believe that you need three daily wins. You need a mindset win, so you're learning something. So, for example, listening to a podcast like this, reading something, for example, just learning something. So, for example, the first one is a mindset win. The second one is a movement win, which is exercise. And the third win you need is mindfulness. And mindfulness it can be a nap, It can be doing yoga. It can be doing anything that just gives you peace in a way. And those are the 3 wins I believe you need on a daily basis.
I love that, and thank you for being so specific. I think that's going to help people, because a lot of times people don't realize that it's not just one day. When you're able to break it up, it changes things, like you said. And you broke it up specifically. You broke it up in a really good way.
Sorry, Henry, just 1 second. Sorry. I'm sorry about that. Hopefully you're editing this, right?
Yes, we can edit that out.
Sorry, just somebody came in and talking, and I just couldn't hear there. So my apologies.
No worries, no worries. Sorry
about that.
Oh, it's okay. No worries, Alistair. Thank you. So one of the things that you were sharing that I love is how you broke it up, because I love the word, and I want people to take from this whatever they take. But one thing I want to share is intentional. You're intentional with your days and your time, and that's what helps you as an athlete now in the business world. And I say business world of being a mentor, an entrepreneur, where you're going to run at your peak. See, and people don't look at their lives, and they should look at their lives like an athlete. Right. I love what you shared also, that they just move past it faster. I love that. They experience, champions experience pain, sadness. They're human. They just don't let it take the average, all day, or most people get through it faster. So I love that you shared that. I love that people being intentional and breaking up your day, where you have a nap that you feel, and sometimes you don't fall asleep. You're just shutting off to the world so that you're ready for that second part. So great things. So in these last couple questions, Alistair, what is somebody that can get, think of one of the lowest points in your life, and that could have been financially, health, something that was really hard for you to get through. And now, in retrospect, is there anything you think you would have done different? And I know there's no regrets, because who we are is an accumulation of everything in life. But if your 50-year-old self can tell your 30-year-old self those same problems, what do you think might have helped them be better in those times?
I would say not to try and think you can figure out everything yourself, and think that you can do it yourself. Is to lean on people that really love you and care for you, and not let pride get in the way, especially us as males. We tend to think that we should be doing everything ourselves, and not. And we think it's a sign of weakness of telling others where we're struggling, now, and being vulnerable, for example. Now, here's the thing about vulnerability as well, is that it's not something to be shared with everybody. But we should be able to be vulnerable around people that we love and people that care for us, and vice versa. So I would say, if I was to go back and tell myself something, it would be not to keep everything to myself as much, not trying to figure everything out as much as I can, to open up and let others in, and others help me more. You'd be really surprised when you open that door. And something my mother said to me when I was 14 years old, I remember it was in the kitchen in our home in South Africa, and she said, Alistair, in life you'll be lucky if you get more than a handful of people that you really trust. And at that time I didn't really understand that. I thought, 5 people, I'm sure I'll have 50 people that are, and still to this day that she's proven correct, is that that core circle of people that you can trust with all your life. If you've got more than 5, you are in the 1%. I don't, but I'm very lucky that I have 3 or 4. But that would be the thing I'd tell myself, Henry, is not to keep things to myself, is to open up and talk more and speak.
I love that, Alistair, because you said a key part of that too. Vulnerability is important, but it's not to share with everyone. Right, because a lot of times, especially when you might have just got done speaking, finishing a book, something that took a lot out of you, right? And you need to share a moment, but it doesn't mean you go back to that same audience and share your vulnerability, because that's not wisdom. I think the wisdom, like you said, is sharing that with the right people, that you can, though, say, I'm having a hard day. Can you pray? Can you sit with me? Can you, etc. So I think that's great, wise words that you would say to yourself. On that. I love that. So second part of that question is, in all the books, if and I know you have a new one that you're writing, But what is a book, if somebody was trying to change their mindset, of all the books that you've written, if they're trying to change their mindset, they've never known what it's like to think like a champion. They grew up, they've never had, like, what does it mean? What's a good book, or where can they start in your arsenal that's practical, that they can start going, oh, that makes sense to me?
Definitely, if it's sports, it would be Champion Minded or Habits That Make a Champion. If it's not so much sports, I would definitely say Developing a Winning Attitude and Mindset is a good book. It's really just short chapters of stories and examples of my life and other people that have had an impact on me. And then, my latest one, Mindset is Your Superpower. Again, written in a very simple way with short messages. 77 ways to create excellence in your life.
How many ways?
77.
Wow.
Yeah. Ways to create excellence in your life, and that's everything from your habits, your routines, your relationships, your mindset, your self-talk, the things that we've touched on just in this short time, Henry. That would definitely be a good book. Mindset is Your Superpower.
I love that, and we'll share that in well, thank you, Alistair. Now, I have a tradition, even though today, for all the guests, it's a short segment, because normally they're used to almost an hour. But again, like I mentioned, it's in person, so I look forward to another one. But I always give, in these last moments, my guests and my new friends, like yourself here, a chance to ask me a question if anything comes to mind, because you didn't know what to expect today. You didn't know what questions were going to come, and you've been a tremendous sport, and I love everything you shared. I feel like we've known each other, and that's why I was so excited to get to know you. And I feel that everything, just so you could hear from me, everything that I felt I'd gotten to see and your representation of what you've put out to the world matches who you are. So kudos to you on being the same, and your responses and interaction with the people. Again, thank you. So is there anything that you would like to ask me? Because you're trying to get to know me as well. It's only fair you get at least one question to ask me.
Yeah, I think it's two questions. The first one would be, why do you do what you do? And that's a question that I ask almost everybody, is why do you do what you do, first of all, besides that we have to pay mortgage and put food on the table, but why do you do what you do? And the second one would be almost something to do with your legacy, is how would you like to be remembered? Because that second question is really alive right now. We have the opportunity to have that impact on others. Is how, if you weren't in that room, how would you like others to talk about you?
Yeah.
So those are the two questions.
Well, thank you, Alistair. And I'll share with you, and I'll have the team send you out. But I wrote two books so far, and one is called Live Now. Second one, Living Now, and the third one I'm almost done with is called Living Your Legacy. So your second question is literally what I'm writing about.
Wow. Okay.
Literally, that's the name of the book, and it all starts with what you just said. Is most people. I want people to enjoy me alive and not wait till something bad happens. So that's my entire message. So going back to your first question, is I feel that I know what it's like to be broke, what it's like to be unhealthy, what it's like to be almost all the negatives that are in the world that are not even negatives, they're just life. Mm-hmm. So I think where most people unfortunately fail is that they stay in there, and it makes them fearful of life. Mm-hmm. So they're almost manifesting a bad day. Oh my gosh, just give me one of those days today, like you said. But they don't realize how powerful the words are, to your point earlier. Well, for me, I do realize the power of the words. I do believe that I've had a chance to see what it's like in other parts. So now that I am healthy overall, I'm in a good position, I feel that I want to also share that message. Having great guests like you, I've had a chance to meet people at different seasons of life, and I want people to click. They might click with me, they might click with you, they might click with another guest, but to continue that platform and not wait till something bad happens, Alistair. Mm-hmm. So my why is to share with the world, including and especially me first, like you said, is so that I can live my best life today. And it doesn't mean I have to be number one. It doesn't mean I have to have a lot of money. It just means that what I have at this season, of my life. And using your sports analogy, if I'm on the bench, then I want to be the best bench rider, second shirt, red shirt I can be, right? Because you can appreciate this. When you're second string, you have to actually pay more attention sometimes, because in one instant, you're going to have to jump into the game. You have to be ready to go at all times if you're going to be great at what you do. Mm-hmm. So for me, I feel like the platform I'm given, I want to share, because in writing this last book, this segue, Living Your Legacy, I want my family to speak those things to me in my eyes, like you said, not talk about me in reference. So I think they go hand in hand. I want to use this platform to bless people, to help them, give them tools like maybe your books, hearing you, myself, others, and we continue to bring a positiveness and an application to the world that can be beneficial to them.
Awesome. Yeah. I love that. I think if there's just one quick thing I want to add there, and it's just so awesome that I didn't know, the questions I asked you, I didn't realize how close that was to your heart, and that you were actually writing about that. So that's actually pretty awesome. I was just looking at something yesterday about a person that's getting honored to the Hall of Fame in a particular sport. Now, I'm not going to name any names because the event hasn't happened yet. But I was just thinking, how sad is that? Because this person has since passed away, is that this person won't know that he was a Hall of Famer. And I know I'm maybe going off the subject a little bit here, but this is where I'm going. Is that why do we have to wait until people are sometimes gone until they realize how special they were?
Yep.
And I think every day we need to tell people if we love them, we care about them. They make an impact in our lives. Why do we have to wait until sometimes it's too late to say those words? I don't know why I wanted to bring that up right now, but I just thought there's somebody that's becoming a Hall of Famer in a particular sport, and he will never know that. And he'll never know how much he was loved and how much he was honored, So I just thought I'd throw that in, as that tell people that you appreciate them. Yeah. Tell people that you love them. Tell people what you mean to them. Life is too short to hold grudges and keep things, because we can be gone now.
Yeah.
None of us are guaranteed of tomorrow. So don't hold things back. Don't keep things back. Tell people that how much they mean to you.
Well, Alistair, I love that last point. I really do, because you didn't know that, but I don't push it, but you'll get copies of it. And I'd even be honored, and I'm going to say this on the air, that as I finish that book in a couple months, I'll be fully done, for you to see part of it, and maybe you'll do me the honor of even writing a little caption or something in your heart, because I think you'll realize how similar-minded, I'm just humbly putting myself in your arena, but in certain aspects, because to your point, I'm doing something with my family starting tomorrow, literally, where my whole family, my immediate, are coming, my kids, my sister, are coming together to just bring, and once a year we do a very out of the ordinary, to just be, to your point. And we do it all the time, but this is a special one, because I don't want to wait, like you said, to be recognized. I want those things done. And that's why this last book, Live Now, the premise of that book, Alistair, was to help build a good platform. Wherever you are in life, let's build a little better one for you. Second is, let's go do actions. It's called Living Now. Let's go put it into the world. Let's go do something. And this third book now brings it all together. And they're small little books, but thank you for what you shared. Thank you for your heart. Thank you for your persistence in sharing the good news, because it needs to be shared, Alistair. And I love that. And I feel really good with your message. So I definitely have enjoyed. We hit the max of this today for you on time. I love that. I knew it was going to go by quick, and I'm going to speak to us that we're going to do an in-person one sooner than later, and definitely do a part 2, because I've really enjoyed getting to know. And I love, because I cheated a little bit, because I know a little bit more about you than you know about me, and I knew we were this aligned. I just felt it. You proved it, and I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day and your schedule to make this podcast happen. And obviously, we'll be in touch very soon. But thank you, Alistair.
It's been an absolute pleasure, Henry. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. I will talk to you soon, and have a great rest of your day and week.
Thank you.
Let me go off here.